It is 9 minutes past the hour. This is the Craig Fahle Show on 101.9 WDET. Thank you very much for being with me on this Wednesday. And one of the issues that we've talked about on this program on a number of occasions is auto insurance here in the state and what is going to happen to auto insurance. No fault. Is that something that is going to be around? And reforming, quote unquote, reforming the no-fault system here in the state is something that politicians seem to bring up every couple of years as a new legislative session comes around. And we talk about it, and it goes away, but it comes back every couple of years. And what's really at stake here when we're talking about eliminating the quote unquote no-fault system here in the state? It seems that the real target of this legislation is the Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association Fund. This is something we all pay into. We pay for the Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association Fund, and it pays for lifetime medical benefits for those with who have been victims of accidents and need ongoing therapy. Now, granted, as safety improvements happen in automobiles, the numbers of people that are needing lifetimes of rehab or even months of rehab is changing, but it is there for us, and we pay into it. Now, there are proposals to put caps on the amount of medical benefits. Some say $1 million, maybe the cap. I've heard proposals in past years of $500,000 as the lifetime cap on these medical benefits. And that sounds like a lot of money, but it's amazing how quickly that amount of money can be used up when it comes to rehabilitation from automobile accidents. Now, I have to say, we were talking about this policy. We invited the insurance commissioner, Kevin Clinton, to be on the program. He had agreed to come on the program, but once I told him he'd actually be on to debate it with somebody else, he refused to come on the program with someone else. Just want to put that out there. So we will get their position on this at some point in time. I wanted him to be a part of a debate about this. He did not want to be a part of this debate. He wanted to just talk to me on his own to get their talking points across and not be challenged on any of it. Okay, fine. But he didn't want to do it this way, and frankly, I'm not that comfortable with that because there's a lot of different questions that need to be answered when it comes to medical benefits. Joining me in the studio is the person who would have debated Mr. Clinton had he decided to come on, is Erica Coulston, who is the owner and operator of Walk the Line, which is a rehabilitation program. We appreciate you being with us, and we've talked to you before. Welcome back.
Thank you, Craig, for having me.
It seems we're talking to you every couple of years.
Unfortunately.
And this is, look, there are a lot of discussions to be had about fixing the system so that there isn't a lot of fraud in the system, so that there aren't people that are claiming benefits that they should not. But I'm not convinced that that's a reason to kill the program, which is what a lot of people are talking about doing at this point in time. Do you get a sense that people understand how much rehabilitation costs?
No, and that I think is the real heart of the issue, is that you don't understand. I don't think even if somebody had told me what would have happened to me that night had I got into the car that I did, you don't understand what it means to be catastrophically injured. I have a C6 spinal cord injury. I'm a quadriplegic. I would never have understood the magnitude of what that would mean. And that's exactly why you buy insurance policies, for things that you don't expect to happen, that you need to be prepared for.
Well, and talk about what, frankly, the Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association, your ability to get those benefits is meant.
It's the difference between average to minimal care to the best care that can be provided. It's ongoing therapeutic support, medical supplies, attendant care, things that you need in order to live a healthy, fulfilling life. And the real issue is, I think, that you touched on, has been transparency with the MCCA and their unwillingness to provide all of their financial information.
Well, they argue that the current course is unsustainable. They have their own actuarial formula, and actuarial tables are something insurance companies use to determine their future risk. They will not open up those actuarial tables to any outside scrutiny. So they can claim that they're on an unsustainable path without actually having to provide any proof that that's the case. And so what, for somebody like you that is working to figure out what the best way to go forward in the system is, what do you take away from that?
I think it's completely irresponsible to contemplate and furthermore to ask our legislators to vote on legislation that would essentially do away with a program that's taking care of the people that need it most in this state without looking at the financial information, all of it. What are the assumptions that go into these actuarial equations? What are the rates of return on investment that are being determined? Are they in line with current financial projections? until we understand the true sustainability of this fund, I don't think that we can ask our legislators to vote on changes to it that significantly put into jeopardy the benefits.
Well, and what are some of the things that you think that we're not considering when we look at this? Because this is all going to be couched in terms of cost to consumers. You might save money if you make these changes. I don't see in any of the proposed legislation that I've seen in past years, and we're not at that stage yet here, but I haven't seen any indication that there'd be guarantees of rate reductions for customers here in Michigan if they make these changes or agree to them.
Absolutely. There's been no guarantee to savings. And, I wish that Insurance Commissioner Clinton had come on the show, because he in the past has said that if there are no rate reductions, he will come in and regulate. And actually, he has no power to do so. And that's, a real cause for concern. The costs of insurance in the state of Michigan are high, but if you look at your bill, it's the cost of collision that is high. And that cost of collision in Michigan is 2 to 3 times higher than it is in other states.
Well, and the medical liability portion of this is also separated out. Each individual that buys insurance in the state of Michigan gets a statement from their insurance company explaining exactly what portion of their policy goes to the MCCA, correct?
Correct, and that currently is about $175.
Okay, $175 per motorist. We don't know how much money is in the system at this point in time. We don't know how much they pay out in benefits, do we?
I believe that those numbers are out there. There's about $14 billion in the fund currently. But again, as far as projecting how that will last in terms of people currently benefiting and future benefits and their life expectancies and all of those calculations, we don't know.
$14 billion. That's not an insignificant amount.
Correct, yeah.
But again, when we put this into the costs of therapy, I should remind folks, my guest right now is Erica Coulston, owner and operator of Walk the Line. This is a physical therapy organization that helps victims of auto accidents and other types of accidents recover. And again, therapy like what you do, I think it's important to explain what goes into this kind of therapy. For instance, what kind of things do you do as part of your recuperative effort?
I am in between 10 and 12 hours of some kind of therapy, be it physical therapy, occupational therapy, a week. That therapy is aimed at recovering function that I lost from my injury, paralysis.
And how many people are we talking about that are employed in this type of an endeavor? I mean, so if I get in an accident and I don't have the use of my legs, but they want to help me regain perhaps the use of them, how many people would be assisting me in any given day?
Between 2 and 5, just in the therapy portion alone. Additionally, I require 24-hour attendant care, which, goes in shifts of 6 to 8 hours a day. So I need assistance because of the lack of hand function. I need assistance with pretty much all basic to advanced tasks throughout my day.
Do you think people consider this really when they're looking at this debate about auto insurance?
I don't think so. Again, I feel like people are not, there's no way to be really aware of what you're going to need and what the true cost is. $175 per vehicle sounds like a lot, but when you consider this is essentially a private health insurance policy paid for by drivers for drivers that has no bearing on your taxes at all, it's really a huge benefit. What they're trying to do with getting rid of this fund will push people onto Medicaid and Medicare. Those systems are already broken. They're overburdened.
Okay. Have you calculated what the costs of your rehab have been since you were in this accident?
I have not. I've been injured for 11 years.
Do you have any idea? Guesstimates? I
would guess I'm in the millions between surgeries and therapy.
So you would have reached this proposed cap. And we hear this cap of $1 million over and over again. And certainly a lot of victims, that would be enough. But there are enough of them out there that wouldn't be anywhere near.
Well, yeah, you figure the average age of folks with spinal cord injuries alone is between 18 and 35. I was 23 at the time that I was injured. So $1 million over the course of my life would be gone, absolutely.
Well, and it's interesting because Matt Trevethan said that, he's sure that you're at the million stage because his wife has been undergoing physical therapy for a long time for an auto accident, and she's hit $1 million after 6 months. So obviously this is something that goes on for years and years. I guess the question I have is, what do you think is at the root of a lot of these pushes to get rid of this system, which does serve some people very well?
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said $14 billion is a lot of money. And I think that there's a lot of people trying to figure out how to get at that money. Insurance companies don't want this ongoing liability that they have to people that benefit from this fund and from these laws. And they'll say, you've heard all of the arguments. The MCCA is unsustainable, but they refuse to provide all of the information that's used to formulate that statement.
Erica, what happens I have to put this out there. You have a therapy business, and a lot of people would argue that maybe this is a self-serving position for you to take. You're just worried that, you won't be able to charge as much for what you do.
Well, in one way, I agree with you. It is a self-serving it's a self-serving argument because I do therapy at our facility, Walk the Line, and we started that program so that I could have an aggressive recovery program to continue my therapy. So in that sense, it is self-serving. As far as the business aspect of it goes, there's room for compromise, and there's no reason that providers and insurance companies should not both be able to survive with a certain amount of money in this fund and charged per vehicle. The problem is that we can't get to what that amount should be, and there's all of these arguments going on that are clouding the ideas of legislators and taxpayers.
Here's the question though too. Is the MCCA, the Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association, being used in a way? They're talking about insurance reform. It seems that these are completely separate entities because this is a fund that is paid for entirely by motorists. This is money that doesn't belong. This isn't something that the insurance companies are paying into. This is something that citizens are paying into. This is separate from the coverage that you're getting from your auto insurance company. Is there a possibility to reform auto insurance that leaves this out of it?
Absolutely, and I think that's what's not being talked about. There is almost no regulation on insurance companies in the state of Michigan. They use zip codes and credit scores to determine rates for auto insurance, for collision. These things are out there in order to price people out of auto insurance and to reduce their liabilities, and that's what we need to be looking at.
Well, I appreciate you being with us, Erica. And again, good luck with your therapy, your continued rehabilitation. It's been going on for a long time, I realize, but there's got to be some progress being made, or else you wouldn't keep doing it, I'm guessing.
I'm making amazing progress, considering from where I started from, and I plan on continuing it. And I also want to say, if people want more information, they can go to protectnofault.org and find more information on how they can educate themselves, because I think it's important for all of us to learn on our own what the facts are and communicate with your legislators.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being with us. And just to let you know, everybody, this morning on the Facebook page, I posted a letter that was written by L. Brooks Patterson, Oakland County Executive, about this issue. Now, keep in mind, L. Brooks Patterson himself was recently the victim of an automobile accident. He's been going through pretty intensive therapy himself. And, of course, his driver is going to require significant therapy for the rest of his life as well. I don't remember him really having a huge position on this in the past, but he certainly has thought about this very, very carefully, and he wrote a letter to Oakland County residents that I posted on the Facebook page this morning. So regardless of where you stand on this issue, I want you to read it because it's pretty long, but there's a lot of good information in there, and there's a lot of different questions that we need to be asking about this. So I just want you to read it so you have a better understanding of what's at stake and what is being discussed as part of this quote-unquote reform package of the no-fault system here in Michigan. Read it, please. That's all I'm asking. This is the Craig Fahle Show on 101.9 WDET.